Stop. Do not leave this screen. What has been happening over the last 3 days is not a coincidence, it is not fatigue, and it is not a phase. You have been waking up in the middle of the night for no apparent reason. You have felt your chest tighten at moments that should have been peaceful. You have looked at your own life, like someone looking at a garment that no longer fits, yet continues to wear anyway. There is a silent restlessness running through your system over the last few weeks, a sensation that something invisible is rearranging itself inside you, and this sensation will not go away just by sleeping better or drinking more water. You did not come to this video by chance. It was not the algorithm. It was your field responding to a precise transmission at the exact moment it needed to respond. There is a date that is approaching, and this date is not just a marker on the calendar. It is a portal. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what will happen on June 21st, why the majority of people will go through this day as if it were any other, and why you, specifically, have a chance that may not return in the same way in the next cycle. I need to warn you of one thing before continuing. Faced with this event, there are two groups. There is the sleeping crowd, who will feel every wave of this energy window and will blame everything except what is truly happening. They will say it is work. They will say it is fatigue. They will have one more coffee, open another social network, and the window will close before them without them even realizing it was open. And there is the tuned-in minority, who recognize the signs and know that ignoring them now costs too much. You are here because you belong to this second group, and belonging to it means responsibility. It means that pretending you didn't see is no longer an option. Comment ready in the first pinned comment if you can feel that this window has already begun to open inside you. This declaration is not for me. It is for your own field to register, in written word, that you have decided to see. Now let's get to what no one is telling you clearly. June 21st is the solstice. Astronomically, this means that the Earth reaches the extreme point of its tilt in relation to the Sun. In the Northern Hemisphere, it is the longest day of the year. In the Southern Hemisphere, where most of those listening to this are, it is the shortest day, the longest night, the moment when sunlight crosses the sky along the most intimate, lowest, most condensed path of the entire annual cycle. This is not mysticism. This is physics. You can open any basic astronomy book and confirm every word. But this is where the story gets interesting. Every ancient civilization built monuments to mark this specific day. Stonehenge was aligned with millimeter precision for the solstice. The Inca temples, the Mayan calendars, the Celtic shrines, the Egyptian pyramids, everything points to this date. And these civilizations had no electricity, no distractions, no electromagnetic noise. They observed what we have lost the ability to observe, that on this day, something truly changes in the electromagnetic fabric that surrounds us. The Earth's magnetic fields register measurable changes during the solstice period. The human nervous system, which is literally a bioelectric circuit, responds to these changes. This is not a metaphor. It is bioelectricity. And when you combine the knowledge of ancient civilizations with what modern science is only now beginning to admit, you understand that the solstice is a window in which the body, the mind, and the subtle field are more permeable, more malleable, more prone to rewriting. And here is the point that separates those who understand from those who repeat pretty phrases. A portal is not an astronomical event. A portal is the turning point, where the cost of remaining stuck in your current life becomes greater than the terror of taking the next step. You take the step and then the ground appears. Never before. Most people wait for the universe to descend and resolve it. You no longer have that luxury because the universe has already brought you to this video. From here on out, it is movement or it is nothing. That is exactly why I prepared Magia, 28 exercícios, as 28 chaves do despertar. It is not a course for those who want to hear beautiful things about spirituality. It is a 28-day journey, a complete lunar cycle designed for those who reach the solstice and understand that feeling the energy is not enough. You need structure. You need daily exercises that translate the subtle signal into concrete decision, that take the shadow you have been avoiding for years and transform it into clarity, that take the restlessness that has kept you awake and turn it into practical direction. The 28 keys were built for the specific type of person who is hearing this voice right now. Someone who feels different, who carries a weight no one can explain, and who is tired of collecting information without ever crossing to the other side. The link to get started is in the first pinned comment of this video. I left it highlighted there, precisely so that you do not have to go looking anywhere else. When you enter, write CHAV1 below, and that word will act as an energetic anchor for your decision. Do not write it just to write it. Write it because you have decided. What makes the June 21st solstice different is what happens on the subtle plane when the extreme point of the inclination intersects with what ancient texts called the greater currents. There is a macro rhythm in the universe, galactic, solar, planetary, and there is a micro rhythm within you. When these two rhythms enter into coherence, what would normally require months of inner practice can happen in just a few days. And when they enter into incoherence, the opposite occurs. What would normally go unnoticed becomes a crisis, becomes insomnia, becomes the feeling that everything is falling apart at once, at the same time that tools that always worked stop working. The solstice opens this window. For approximately 72 hours around the 21st, your field is more open to receive, more open to reorganize, more open to being wounded if you do not know what you are doing. This is why entire cultures would prepare for weeks before this date. It was not superstition. It was consciousness engineering. It was method. And method is exactly what has been removed from modern spirituality, leaving behind a decorative version, weightless, bodiless, consequenceless. The window amplifies. That is the point that needs to be etched in red ink in your mind. It does not choose whether it will amplify light or shadow. It amplifies exactly what is inside you the moment it opens. Whoever enters fighting, fights more. Whoever enters sleeping poorly, sleeps worse. Whoever enters with clarity multiplies that clarity. Whoever enters with courage crosses in 3 days what would take 3 years. And this is where your body enters the conversation. You have probably felt over the last 2 or 3 weeks signs you cannot explain. Fatigue without a clear cause, even while getting enough sleep. Vivid long dreams, sometimes symbolic, sometimes uncomfortable, that wake you up with a feeling that lasts for hours. Episodes of irritation or sadness that appear out of nowhere and disappear out of nowhere. A strange hunger. A hunger for change, for movement, to cut something off, to do something. Or the opposite. An apathy that feels thick, heavy, as if an invisible blanket were on your shoulders preventing you from rising. These signs are not weakness. They are your nervous system adjusting to the pressure of a wave that has not yet reached its peak. It is like the ocean before a large tide. The water recedes, and those who do not know the rhythm think everything is calm. Those who do know realize that the calm is the warning. The solstice is the large tide. The last few weeks were the recession. On the physical plane, the most common signs are these: changes in sleep patterns, especially waking up between 3 and 5 a.m. with a clear mind for no reason. Slight electric sensations in the chi, spine in your hands or at the nape of your neck. Sudden heat without a fever, frontal headache, especially in the region between the eyebrows, increased sensitivity to sounds, lights, and smells, to the point of being bothered by what was previously neutral. Changes in appetite, some losing their hunger, others feeling hungry all the time, and, in the emotional realm, waves of sadness that seem to have no origin, alternating with moments of euphoria also without a visible cause. Sudden urges to cry over small things, pent-up anger emerging from beneath the skin, but also flashes of absolute clarity about what you need to change, knowing with visceral certainty that a relationship is over, knowing that a job no longer fits, knowing that a version of you has died, and another is asking to pass under the door. All of this is normal within the cycle. All of this is the system doing the work it came to do. The problem was never feeling. The problem is not knowing what to do with what you are feeling, and this is exactly the boundary between those who use the window and those who are used by it. The majority feels, interprets it wrong, and wastes it. The minority feels, translates it with precision, and crosses through. That is why I built Magia M28 Exercicios exactly to fit within this cycle. It is 28 days because it is a complete lunar cycle. Each exercise is short, practical, and built to integrate with your routine, not to replace it. You do not need to become a monk. You need to become an architect of your own crossing. The link is in the first pinned comment. Join now before the window closes and becomes a memory. When you join, write "Entry" below. Stake your claim. Do not leave it for tomorrow, because tomorrow within an energetic window is not the same thing as tomorrow outside of it. Now the practical side. I am not on this channel to write poetry. There are specific practices that work in this type of window. These are not rituals to impress. They are protocols to anchor. First, daily silence. At least 20 minutes a day between June 17 and June 23rd. No cell phone, no television, no music, no one talking. Just silence. Sitting or lying down. The nervous system needs this vacuum to process what is being delivered. Without it, information arrives and has nowhere to land. It becomes noise, it becomes anxiety. It becomes the wrong sensation that something is wrong, when in fact, something is just arriving faster than you can digest it. Second, physical contact with the earth. If possible, walk barefoot on dirt, grass, or sand for at least 10 minutes a day during this period. It is not fluff, it is electrical. The body discharges excess and receives stabilization. For those who do not have this possibility, a cold shower at the end of the day also works as grounding, even if it is lighter. Third, water. More than usual. The body is processing more electrical charge, and water is the conductor that allows this processing to happen without burning the circuits. If you wake up with a heavy head feeling this week, the first thing before coffee is a large glass of water. Fourth, and this is the most important, writing. Pen and paper, not digital. Every day of the solstice window, write. It can be 10 minutes. It can be a page. Write what you are feeling, what you are seeing, what is coming. Handwriting organizes what meditation expands. Without writing, the portal delivers information and you forget it. With writing, the portal delivers information and you integrate it forever. Fifth, intention, but true intention. Not the nice version seen on social media. True intention is a short, decided sentence without vague words. It is not, "I want to be happier." It is, "I will end cycle X by the end of this lunar cycle." It is specific. It is dated. It has no escape route. It is a promise that has a cost if you break it, and that is why it has weight when you keep it. Sixth, conscious contact with the sun at sunrise or sunset. 5 minutes looking at the horizon without glasses, with indirect light. The optic nerve connects with the system. Endocrine. This simple act regulates your internal clock and puts you in phase with the solar cycle exactly when the solar cycle is at its extreme point. And this is where 90% of people will fail, because they will read this list, agree with it, feel that it makes sense, and close this video promising to start tomorrow. Tomorrow does not exist in the energetic window. There is only now or there is lost. The June 21st solstice window will not return the same way next year. Each window is unique. Each astrological combination is an unrepeatable signature, and this year's window carries a specific weight that no other has carried. Let's go now to the side that no one wants to hear, but which is exactly what makes the difference between those who use the window and those who are used by it. The most common mistakes during this period. First mistake, treating it as hype. There are people who hear about the solstice, think it's nice, post a quote on social media, and go on with their lives. This person is not using the energy. They are just using the topic as decoration for their own stagnation. Do not be that person. Decoration transforms no one. Second mistake, spiritual passivity. Thinking that it is enough to meditate once, light a candle, say a prayer, and that's it. You're aligned. The window demands physical movement. It demands concrete decision-making. It demands that something in your material life changes between June 17 and 23. It could be a conversation you have been avoiding. It could be a resignation. It could be an apology. It could be a purchase you need to make to start something new. It could be deleting a number. Whatever it is, it needs to be real. It needs to have a consequence. It needs to leave a mark on the calendar, not just in the field. Third mistake, amplifying the wrong thing. As I said before, the window amplifies what is inside you. If you enter it fighting with your partner, you will fight more. If you enter it eating poorly, you will feel your body collapse. If you enter it sleep-deprived, you will feel your mind disorganize. Do not enter the window without first calibrating the basics. The 3 days before the solstice are as important as the solstice itself. They are the pre-portal, and those who ignore the pre-portal enter out of tune in the highest note of the year. Fourth mistake: confusing openness with uncontrolled permeability. Some people, upon feeling the energy rising, open up too much. They talk to anyone, overshare, make impulsive decisions, end relationships that didn't need to be ended, send messages they will regret. Openness without structure is a wound, not evolution. That is why every serious tradition had protection protocols before, during, and after the window. It is not protection against demons. It is protection against your own dilated impulsivity. Fifth mistake: ignoring the post-window. The solstice does not end on the 21st. The 22nd, 23rd, and 24th are the landing phase. Those who descend from this wave without care fall. Those who descend with a method integrate. What is done in the 3 days after the peak is just as decisive as what is done in the 3 days before. And almost no one talks about this because it seems less sellable than the peak itself. And all these mistakes have a common root: lack of a map. You were delivered to the world without a manual. They taught you how to make spreadsheets, how to pass exams, how to write a resume. They did not teach you how to read your own body. They did not teach you how to interpret the signs. They did not teach you how to navigate within an energetic window without getting lost along the way. And when the educational system fails you in something so fundamental, you have two choices: continue improvising year after year, or take a shortcut with someone who has already mapped the terrain before. That is why I built Magia M28 Exercicios, not as just another course but as the map you never received. The 28 keys cover everything from the first signs of the soul to the integration of the shadow, from reading synchronisms to translating these synchronisms into real decisions that change your week, your month, and your entire next lunar cycle. And the 28-day cycle begins exactly when you need it to begin. You cannot wait any longer. This is your last chance to get in before the window opens for good. The link is in the first pinned comment. I will not repeat this information 10 times. Those who get it, get it. Those who don't will come back to this video in 3 months wondering why they felt so much and changed so little. Comment "Estu pronto" below if you have decided not to be that person. And before I reach the final point, I need to tell you something about this channel. Every video I post here is a coordinate within a larger map. They are not isolated videos. Each one connects to the next and the previous one, forming a cartography of this entire year's energetic window. If you are not subscribed, you only receive loose pieces. The next videos will show what happens in the first 15 days post-portal, what to expect from the next astrological inflection point, and how to avoid the typical collapse of those who cross the solstice without a method. Subscribe now, turn on the bell, and ensure the algorithm delivers every map coordinate to you at the right time. Losing the sequence is losing the context, and losing the context is wasting everything that was conquered within the window. Now the real preparation, not the nice version, the honest version. What you need to do between today and June 21st. Start with the body. Reduce your consumption of refined sugar and excess caffeine. Increase your water intake. Sleep early, even if you can't get deep sleep. Lie down earlier, in the dark, without screens. The body is the vehicle. If the vehicle is in disrepair, the journey is painful, regardless of how powerful the road is. Continue with the mind. Identify the 3 thoughts that steal the most energy from you. It could be financial worry, resentment toward a person, fear of a future decision. Identify them. Write them on a piece of paper. Keep that paper in a specific place. Not to get rid of them magically, but to take these chains out of the continuous rotation in your head during the window. You will need your mental bandwidth free to receive what is coming, and there won't be enough space left if these 3 obsessions occupy the main stage. Resolve what can be resolved. That message you've needed to send for weeks, send it today. That postponed conversation, schedule it for this week. That paperwork that needs to be organized, organize it. The energetic window does not work well for those who enter with mechanical pending issues cluttering the field. Clear the ground before the tide rises. And the most important step of all, make a big decision. Just one. Before the 21st. It could be committing to a path of real transformation. It could be ending a bond. It could be starting something you've been putting off for an entire year. It doesn't need to be perfect, it needs to be real. Whoever enters the window without having made a big decision leaves it the same. And leaving a portal, the same, is the worst possible waste, because the system knows you had the chance and chose not to use it. I am giving this to you with clarity, because I believe you are part of the minority that came here looking for exactly this type of instruction. You didn't come to feel good. You came to transform. And transformation is not a pretty word. It is a physical, mental, and energetic process that hurts and liberates in equal measure, and that requires you to endure a bit of discomfort now in exchange for a version of you that didn't fit inside the old one. The June 21st window is opening now, as you hear this voice. The next hours and days will define whether you cross over into an expanded version of your life, or if you pass through yet another portal with your eyes closed and wake up in January of next year, wondering where the time went, where the energy went, where the opportunity went. The choice was never mine. It was always yours. But the structure for that choice to become practical reality I have already given you. It is in the first pinned comment. Every minute you delay clicking is 1 minute less of preparation before the portal's peak. What you heard today was just the preparation. The final revelation of what all of this means for your next phase, for the next 6 months, and for the entire cycle that opens up from the solstice is in the video that now appears on your screen. Click on it. The first 60 seconds will change your timeline in such a way that none of your future life decisions will look like the decisions you made before this moment. Do not close this channel thinking it is over. It is only just beginning.